Gaming has been the only positive part of this pandemic. We've finally been given the excuse to spend hours, days, and weeks playing the games we love in the name of keeping others safe through social distancing. And whether you have a PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch, we're pretty sure you'll agree that these games will forever go down in history as the games of the 2020 quarantine. Call of Duty Warzone. Activision gave the world a huge present when they released Warzone, the free-to-play mode inside of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. After a staggering 90 gigabyte download, more than 50 million people played the game within the first month of its release. And you're probably one of them. Battle Royales are still working, and this quarantine has proved it, making the people over at Infinity Ward more than happy. Originally, Warzone only had the Battle Royale mode and Plunder, but they've been introducing new modes with each and every huge update. And if you're one of those players who hates jumping from the plane or being ignored by your teammates, or if you're so bad that you never make a proper shot, don't worry, because the world needs noobs like us to create a perfect balance. See you in the gulag. Seriously though, Riot Game had a weapon hidden, and what a weapon it was. The League of Legends creator wants to be the very best in the eSports industry, so they created this Overwatch meets Counter-Strike shooter. The hype created around this game was massive, not only because Riot Games was behind it, but also because it's a free-to-play.
Last player standing.
Some pro streamers, players, and regular people, like you and me, were chosen to test the game while they broadcasted on Twitch, and wow. It broke the single day hours watched record in a single game category with 34 million hours watched. It follows the guidelines to a T when it comes to tactical shooters. You're part of a team full of agents with unique abilities, and the goal is to plant or defuse a bomb, or in this case, a spike. The first team to win the best of 24 rounds wins the match. Think it'll be too difficult for you? You could always go a different route and help Riot Games find cheaters instead. They're willing to pay up to $100,000 to people who can find others exploiting the game or bugs. So really, what are you waiting for? Riot Games has said that this is only just the beginning, and a lot of CSGO and Overwatch pro players have changed roles in order to join Valorant teams at different esports organizations. Is Valorant set to become the game of the year? We definitely think so. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. Nintendo couldn't have gone luckier, releasing its new and highly anticipated Animal Crossing game during a global pandemic was probably one of the best non-intentional ideas ever. The results have been incredible. New Horizons has managed to sell more than 13.4 million copies in its first 6 weeks, which is huge considering its predecessor, Animal Crossing New Leaf, sold 12.5 million copies in its lifetime. And while this might be the first family-friendly game on our list, that doesn't mean it's not good. In fact, this game is brilliant and extremely addictive. From the thrill of terraforming our islands to perfection, to living on the edge and being millions of bells in debt to an evil raccoon just to have a basement, this game's just too satisfying to put down. It's also the kind of comfort and reliability we need in these uncertain times. There's something soothing about picking mass amounts of fruit, betting it all on the turnip markets, and cross-pollinating the shit out of some tulips that makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. So while the game can destroy families, Blame Nintendo for not letting us have more than one island per Switch. It's also the perfect game to have during quarantine. Because if the most stressful parts about it are catching scorpions, watching people fight over some cat with glasses, and deciding what color to paint your roof, then we're okay with that. Speaking of which, I think I hear Timmy and Tommy calling. While this game might not be remembered as the most popular game during quarantine, it will be remembered as the best deal in digital stores. In the PS Store, people could buy the full game for just $4.99, and in the Nintendo eShop and the Microsoft Store for only $2.99. Not bad, right? With The Last Dance coming out on Netflix, the 2K team's marketing campaign will really resonate with players as they try to beat MJ to become the GOAT. Basketball-wise, it's kind of the same deal as when the Lakers got Kobe Bryant in 1996, after the Charlotte Hornets chose him and then traded him to get Vlad Divac. If you love basketball and miss the NBA, this is the perfect alternative. But if you want to start playing My Career, be patient. Because you're late to the game and the playground is already full of MJs, LeBrons, Shaqs, and more. Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Counter-Strike never gets old. Need proof? During this quarantine, the game set a new record on Steam by hitting an all-time peak of 1.3 million concurrent users. And sure, it doesn't come close to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds record of 3.2 million back in 2018, but it's still a huge number during these times of isolation, and just shows how much people still love Valve's shooter. Counter-Strike Global Offensive is the fourth biggest game in the Counter-Strike series, and it's one of the most popular among amateurs and professional players. The game is considered to be one of the best in eSports, and its competitions and majors prove it. The next big one to look out for? ESL One Rio 2020, where teams from all around the world will compete for a spot at the top. Many say that Valorant won't reach the levels of CSGO, but many have also said that CS will soon be history. What do you think will happen in this war between Valorant and CSGO? The Epic Games Store crashed the moment they released GTA 5 for free. But can you blame people? The deal was only good for 1 week. We're not lying when we say this is one of the most successful games in history.
Time to crack that diamond, baby!
It's sold more than 120 million copies around the world. It has 7 Guinness World Records under its belt, including best-selling game in 24 hours and fastest entertainment property to gross 1 billion, proving that the franchise is the king of games. Drugs, sex, and violence. What more could you ask for? From taking part in green vs purple alien wars to driving way too fast, as long as you don't mind breaking a hell of a lot of rules, GTA is for you. And all the other new players out there.
Some of the government, some of it is pretty corrupt.
Now only one question remains. If they've managed to achieve this much with GTA 5, how are they possibly going to top that with GTA 6?
That's how they get paid!
It's a major problem.
Last, but certainly not least, we have the first and final VR game of the list. The long-awaited HalfLife game is finally here, and it couldn't be better. Set between the events of HalfLife and Half-Life 2, Alex Vance will introduce you to an apocalyptic world where ironically you need to venture into the quarantine zone outside of City 17. We don't want to spoil too much, but we're just saying, this is an amazing game. Just ask the 43,000 concurrent players who were ready to go on launch day. The first Half-Life game in 13 years has proven that going to class during a pandemic might actually be pretty cool. Or at least that's what Mr. Charles Coomber thought when he started using the game to teach math. In fact, his lessons have done pretty well with more than 500,000 views so far. If only we all had teachers like this. The only bad thing about this game, you need to have a VR set. The hardware restrictions are strong on this one.
And vertical angles. Now, I will continue downstairs.
We have played so many games that when this is all done, our controllers are going to need a vacation. How about yours? What games of the 2020 quarantine made it onto your list? Let us know in the comments.